Hey guys, welcome back to the Passive Buddies podcast. And as you can see, or you can't see, depending on where you're watching this, we have Brandon Duff, our co-host. And today, guys, we are going to cover NFTs. Are they valuable or are they just a bunch of pixels? Brandon?
Yeah. So you know what? This is a definitely a heated topic because I think that most NFTs are a scam, but there are some or a money grab. But there are some good use cases, I think, for NFTs also. So I'm on the fence. I do not buy the pixel related ones that are just there with no utility or no value that people are just looking to make a quick buck with, where someone just ends up holding the bag on one of those, and you just see the owners of the NFT project just go up and disappear, and everyone's left with a bunch of pixels and no money. So, but there are some use cases, and we'll definitely go over those that I'm a big fan of NFTs in this sense. And what are your thoughts on NFT? Have you purchased an NFT before?
So no, I've not purchased an NFT before. So I am definitely, when it comes to on the fence, it's like, can I get myself into a world? It's a limiting belief. It's 100% a limiting belief. It's like, as you say, like, can I get myself into a world where I'm paying thousands of dollars for a picture that is just a digital picture now? And that's because I'm looking at just a bunch of pixels. Now, and you mentioned it was quite interesting, the fact that you were like, everyone's sort of just like passing around the money bag, so passing around the NFT until like basically it's worthless.
Right.
So it was quite interesting that you were like, you pointed that out, that does happen. It's like there's a big like marketing launch and hey, like huge Discord communities. And it's like, right, okay, let's sell our NFTs. Everyone mints them, everyone flips them, and then basically once all the marketing's died out, it's just worthless.
Yeah, so I feel like it's hot potato in a sense.
Yeah,
it's people keep passing the hot potato until the music stops and that hot potato is in that person's hands and it's burning a hole in their pocket. And it's unfortunate, but it does happen. But there are some use cases for NFTs that I'm a big fan of. Gaming, for instance. I've been a gamer all my life. I don't know if you play video games, but I remember playing like 12-hour days in World of Warcraft and and I still, when the new expansions come out, I do like spend all day playing. And so, but with like gaming, with these big MMOs and where you build up your character to like this godly level, you can't really sell that. And you can't really sell that character. Or if you try to, like on a black market or a third-party site, you can get it taken away and blocked. And then either you have to return the person's money because that'd be the nice thing to do, or you can keep the money and they're left with an account that doesn't work. So what's happening now is some games are coming out with NFTs for the game. And so what that does is, say if I built this character that had, a sword of 1,000 truths, I can take that sword and sell it to another player for real life money. And like Diablo tried to do a real life money market previously, and there was a lot of scams going on with that. But with NFTs, you're able to securely trade through a smart contract this sword of 1,000 truths for some Ethereum, and then take that money and either use it to buy more NFTs or use it to pay your bills. I just did a video on my YouTube about how I was able to play this game called Axie Infinity, take the profits and buy things on Amazon with it. And I ended up buying an Oculus, I think it was. And so I was able to use my in-game currency that was being made from an NFT through a video game and buy real life things with it, like an Oculus or a simulated reality. But I'll give you another example, like our software, we've talked about it in previous episodes, where we switched to a Web3 platform, and people who hold our NFT are able to log into our software and say, for instance, they bought a license and they no longer use it. It's really hard to sell an account, like a license to ClickFunnels, for instance, to someone else. Like, it's not really how it works. Or Zoom Pro, and you have a license key for that, or Discord, or whatever, like license that you would put a serial key into a software. You can't really transfer that license anymore. And NFTs come in, and you're able to take your license or NFT and transfer it to someone else. So like our NFT is a kind of a license to open up our software. And then once you're done with it, you can sell that to someone else. And what I think is really cool is, like, on the secondary market, when people are buying lifetime licenses for different softwares, when you're done with that license or you want to resell it, the creators don't get a cut, because they are buying that piece of that license and then selling it, and there's no cut for the actual when they resell, there's no cut for the actual creators. So like with the blockchain and NFTs, if I were to sell you an NFT and you're a license to our software, and you thought you used it for 2 years, 3 years, and you're no longer in that business, say you're only an investor now, you don't need to do organic marketing anymore, you can take that license and sell it to someone else. But when you sell it, I get 3% of the cut. So it goes back to the development team, which is kind of nice too, because now it's a win-win for everyone, is you're able to recoup some, or if not more, because of how much more development has gone into the software, or you've used it for free and now you're able to resell it. The person gets the ability to transfer that license also, and to use it until they want to use it. And then we get a kickback, in a sense, for every time they sell it. So it's kind of cool that it's now becoming like a more of a transferable license than an actual like serial number. I think that's what's cool about NFTs. And there's a lot more use cases. But have you thought, are you a gamer? Have you ever put a lot of time in the game in hopes that you could take that time invested, in a sense, and be able to resell it to someone else without repercussions from the company?
So I have played a couple of games, definitely not to your level. Definitely not to your level. So I have played a couple of games, and I get, like, don't get me wrong, this episode is literally just going to be about you telling me and convincing me why that I should buy an NFT. And I don't know if it's going to be a good episode or not, because obviously I'm going to be like, not on purpose, but I think I'm just going to be quite ignorant. Like,
yeah, do it.
I just don't get it. Like, so for instance, like you were talking about, like selling the software, and like, originally your software was a monthly subscription. Now with this NFT, is it a one-off payment?
So we had both. We have a monthly subscription, and then we have lifetime memberships.
And there's NFTs for both?
No. So it was more of, we had a model that worked, and if people wanted to kind of like that marketing that we talked about previously, where if you can show them the benefit of going this other way, then we'll add it. So obviously we love the monthly subscription because it's passive, but some people don't want to have a monthly subscription. And that's kind of like me, where I'd rather buy a lifetime membership of something, because I don't have to make any more payments on it. And so we both offer that. That's pretty standard in the software space. And so if someone paid me $5,000 for lifetime access to our software, they can't really transfer that license to anyone else, because they are kind of locked in with their email. It's only their email, and they can't transfer that email unless, they want to sell their email. But again, then it comes into a whole other thing. So another option was they buy this NFT that is the same exact price, and they can, use our software as long as they want. And at the end of it, if they're, 3-4 years down the road, they're done doing organic, they switch to paid ads or whatever, a new software, they can take that NFT and sell it on OpenSea, on the open market, and someone else can buy that and use our software. And they can price it at any price point they want. So if they feel that the whole software is done a lot better and they want to sell it for $10,000, they can sell that for whatever price point they want. It's kind of like selling the lifetime unused key for a different software that is unused. But again, it just really depends on if you know how to buy NFTs or if you don't. Again, it comes down to like your knowledge on what is easier for you. Is it easier to just buy this with regular dollars or pounds or euros for a piece of software with the ability to not resell it at all because it's attached to your email? Or do you want to buy a NFT, which takes a little bit of a learning curve where you can do that? But also the thing about an NFT is I don't need your email address. I don't need your phone number. I don't need your name. So it's kind of like anonymous also. So I can just log in with a wallet in a sense without providing any of that additional information. My privacy. I'm not giving up my email address. I'm not giving up my name to get this software. I can buy an NFT and use the software without having them retarget me for ads, without having them retarget me with my contact information. I don't have to worry about a hacking company who hacks and steals all the emails and phone numbers and credit card information of a company to use to someone else's company. So there are cons and pros to each, but it just really depends on what you feel is best for your current situation.
So let's take a look at the end user. Let's stick with the software, obviously, because obviously it's something you can talk quite in detail about in terms of your own NFT. Like, so the end user, the person using the software, like, why buy it from someone on OpenSea rather than you? What's the benefit for them?
Yeah, definitely. So for instance, we can make a limited 1,000. I think we only have 1,000 NFTs. So we can put a limited number of how many NFTs we have to access that software. So like people can mint more if they wanted, but it depends on the smart contract. We only made it so it was a limited of 1,000. So it is that scarcity marketing strategy where there is only 1,000. And so that 1,000 we can add, say, now this NFT allows you to get access. Gary Vee did is Gary Vee had a conference. He had his Gary Vee conference every single year that he did. I think it's like V Con or something like that. And so with that, he just added the ability, if you bought this NFT, this will give you access to all my future conferences. This will give you access to have lunch with me and all these other things. And so it has all this value wrapped behind these NFTs that there's only a limited, 8,000 of them. So only 8,000 people can have access to all future Gary Vee, purchase conferences, all, having lunch with him once a year, all these different things that you can add to that. But if you, say every year you're buying conferences and they're $1,000 and you have gone for the last 5 years, it might be worth it to buy his NFT because it does have so much utility attached to it. So it just really depends on the creator and the value that's being added. But most of the time, as we kind of talked in the very beginning of this, most of them are money grabs, where it's just the person is holding a hot potato. It's whoever's gonna be able to sell it last and end up holding the bag. And so I find that when I buy NFTs, they're only in gaming and software because they actually provide ongoing utility. And instead of just flipping these pixels that are worthless.
Okay, so two things, right? Okay, so there's only 1,000 NFTs for your software,
right?
Okay, but they can go and pay pounds or dollars, and that's unlimited.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's sort of like, so you can still get the software, so you don't miss out. For instance, like if someone really wants your software, they can go and buy it.
Right.
And then, so that NFT, only having 1,000, it's like, well, if I want it, I can get it. It's just, do I want it on an NFT form? like there is a big thing in crypto that I've noticed is people are very much like, oh no, I'm not giving away my personal data, my personal, like that seems to be a huge thing with crypto, but we'll address that in a bit. And the next one with Gary V and all this utility behind his NFT. Don't get me wrong, the values is, I don't know what the price of his NFTs are, but the value is insane in terms of what he attaches to it. But when he dies, okay, is that not the same scenario as someone's left holding the bag?
Not necessarily, because I mean it could be, but I mean you look at baseball trading cards, right? You have baseball trading cards that Michael Jordan's like rookie card. I mean he's still alive, but if he's dead, you know, his trading card, even though he doesn't play anymore, still has value and is still being traded today. And so just like Pokemon cards, I mean, those aren't real creatures, but a Charizard that is reflective is going for, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars versus, you know, a regular card. So it really depends. I mean, and it's just like art, right? Like it's all subjective. So can that go up in value? Yeah, totally can. I mean, he passes away. His son does Gary V Con, and you know, they do a one-time event where any holder can go to that or go to his funeral. I don't know, just making things up. But you know, it just like I think it's just like trading cards. There's going to be millions and millions of Pokemon cards and baseball cards and hockey cards that are going to be worthless and be pennies. But then there are going to be these rare cards or NFTs that are going to stand the test of time and are only going to gain in value over time because they are so rare and there is a limited amount of them.
Definitely I get the trading card thing, and I miss my shiny Charizard. But like, and I get that. Like, what I'm still not seeing, because like basically the NFT side, so let's put shiny Charizard into an NFT, which has probably already been done. But then it was backed by all this utility, and that's what strengthens the NFT, is basically the value stack on top of the NFT.
Right.
Which I totally get. But then yeah, like for Gary V's instance, where it's like personal time, personal branding, like all that type of scenario. As you say, like if he dies, like what would be the purpose of holding this NFT at that point? Like, I know you can't really answer that, but you can see where my mind's going with it. It's like, and whereas yours is a little bit different. It's like your NFTs, like you can use my software, you can get value from my software, you can make money from you holding this NFT, then putting it into the super sweet tools, which is incredible, and then off you go and make money online, obviously with Facebook automatically. Like, I get that because there's an ROI, but like for something like a Gary V NFT, like the ROI is only there for me in my head as long as he's around. Like, you can die tomorrow and people could still sell that NFT because it's got a use. If Gary V dies tomorrow and all this utility that's backed by, to me, obviously dies with it. Now, this is just me being very, very, like, probably ignorant, as I said at the start of the episode. Like, so it's a case of like, how do you continue and complete or extend the lifetime value of those types of NFTs?
I do not have an answer for you. I totally agree with you. I don't have a Gary V NFT because one, I'm not a big, I mean, we've talked about him a few times, but I'm not a big Gary V hustle kind of bro fan, because it's just, you can't just hustle. There's a lot more. You need to work smarter, not harder. And I don't think he really talks about that much. It's just the grind and hustle mentality. But there are a lot of big fans of him. And so, which is great. Everyone has their own fan kind of persona that they like and they connect with. Gary Vee is just not mine. But yeah, I totally agree with you on if he dies, like what are the benefits of it, because he's no longer doing Gary Vee Con. He's no longer doing meetups because he's gone or passed. But like a trading card, it just really depends on the the perceived value of it, right? Kind of what we were saying earlier. And that's why, again, why I don't buy a lot of these influencers who are now getting into the NFT spaces that are based on kind of their own branding, because just like you were saying, if they do pass, like, it's not going to add value over time because the utility's gone, because the utility was the branding of that individual person. And so that's why a lot of the things I do is gaming NFTs, because the games are going to be around a while. I mean, people love gaming. World of Warcraft has been around for like almost 20 years now, I think. Software people, ClickFunnels has been around forever. But I mean, there are other things like being able to, so like we talked about buying a ticket from a game, and like not a video game, but like going to a basketball game or going to a baseball game. Fraudulent tickets have been, happen quite a bit. People will use a ticket and they'll scan, it'll say this has already been used, and they bought it from like a scalper online or offline, and they lost their money. Versus a blockchain is a verifiable source. So like, for instance, let's say people buy, a ticket from the World Series in '95 or whatever, and that ticket will go for a lot, but it's going to get degraded because of, just time goes on. The paper will, unless it's like sealed and all that stuff, it's going to have wear on it. Versus a blockchain, you can transfer that ticket to someone and have it be verifiable on the blockchain, because there's only a limited number of tickets and they can't be counterfeited, because there's a verifiable address and wallet, and it can't be like copied and photocopied and changed and then sold to someone else, because it's immutable. And so things like that, being able to do transactions quicker, if you're able to sell real estate. I mean, how long does real estate take to close on a house? I mean, it took us like a long time to like get our taxes together, because it was in the middle of tax season. So like, I think it was February. So like, we were still getting our taxes in, and yeah, it was a whole mess. But being able to like have funds and do a swap through a smart contract where these are the funds and the funds are there, and then this is the deed to the house, and do a swap for an NFT, like Monopoly in a sense. So I think that there are going to be some real use cases for this, and speed things up and take and kind of like lean the process of a lot of these transactions that are just, kind of like real estate is just like a note on a ledger. I mean, that's kind of what the blockchain is just a verifiable ledger. So being able to do these things through this like NFTs and smart contracts are going to save a lot of time, but it's also going to get rid of a lot of jobs also, because technology is just advancing, and a lot of these things that are repetitive are going to be kind of gutted. I mean, if you look at how, this is crazy, but with COVID, how everyone started working from home, people realized that a lot of employees are getting a lot more done when they work from home, because they're not distracted by all these other work gossip, or the cost of all the overhead where people cost to take people to the workplace. So a lot of these things, I think, are going to speed up technology, and are going to get rid of a lot of the waste that takes with human interactions, because we're able to use smart contracts to speed up technology, or to speed up time, not speed up time, but save time, because we're not relying on people, we're relying on computer code.
Yeah, and to be fair, like the real estate version, like in terms of that, like NFT for real estate, 100% that should be done. Like that should be, because it takes forever. Like it took us like four or 5 months, even to the point like we were so close to getting the house. But it was just taking so long. I rang the estate agent, listen, if they don't sort their crap out, I'm pulling. I was like, because it just takes so bloody long.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting something like that to like speed those processes up, they are totally getting. I think they're a fantastic idea, in fairness, for those type of NFTs, because they say, like, just if you can speed it up. So where do you like? It's really brand new anyway, isn't it? It's like,
Right.
Where do you think it's going, and how, like, because crypto took what, like, when did Bitcoin? I think Bitcoin was the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So like, when was Bitcoin like first established?
A while ago, I think in like 2007, maybe.
Yeah, I thought it had a 7 in. Right, okay. And I'd say crypto's probably only really been mainstream, what, 3 years?
Depends on the group, but I think me, like I got into it about a year ago, last month, and so I've been in it for a short while. I would say that it's probably been more in the talk since like 2017, and then it's been like, it had this dying off period, and then it's just been growing exponentially with a lot of big businesses going in. But I mean, right now, like, so I'm with a crypto token called Phantasma, and they have upgradable NFTs. So say, for instance, you have your resume on the blockchain, and you go finish a course on how to, do agency work. You can complete this course that is on the blockchain, and then it upgrades your NFT, which is your resume, to prove that you are actually legit, and you have like an immutable like course that you've completed now, that is like on your actual resume on like an NFT, that kind of shows what you're able to do. So like, think of it as like a game, in a sense, where you complete all these online courses and you've proven yourself. And once you've kind of showed on the blockchain that you're able to do this, it changes your resume to reflect that you've actually done this, which anyone can see, versus having someone to go call your university to make sure that you actually have gone to this university, that you've gone to this school, and checking resumes. All this stuff will be public ledger that has been proven based on a smart contract that you've actually completed. And so there's, I think, a lot of use cases that are going to be in the future. Right now, it's just a bunch of pixels that people are doing cash grabs for. There are some small companies out there, or some bigger companies, that are doing gaming. For instance, like, do you remember Farmville?
Yeah.
On Facebook? Yeah. So the Zynga Games, the co-founder of that, came up to Gala Games, and they've launched their own Gala, their own blockchain company that has a game called Townstar that is similar to Farmville. But I bought a NFT for $40,000, which is quite a bit. And so I have an NFT that is a outpost within this game that they're trying to build into a real life economy, where you're able to, like, people have a town where they have a stables, and you have horses, and you have like a farm plot, and you're able to create these resources that are then turned into products to go slay monsters, and those are NFTs. And so they're trying to create a real in-game economy with NFTs and through this game. And so, and they're the creators of Farmville. The co-founder came to this company and is doing this. So some very cool things are in the gaming space. I know a lot of cool things are going to be in the software space. And in the future, I think that with real estate, with resumes, with all sorts of ways to kind of make it gamified, I think that it's going to be a really bright future for NFTs. But right now, I think it's in its infancy. It's like kind of like the .com bubble, where any company that with a .com on their name was given hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and 90% of them failed. But we'll see with some of these NFTs, like a small percentage will actually come out of this NFT phase versus the .com bubble or the NFT bubble, and we'll see some real true utility.
Yeah, it's just obviously how long till that happens. How long does it go mainstream? Because like we said, crypto was roughly about 10 years when it started like blowing up. It was like, so is NFTs, is now the right time to get in at NFTs, or is now like, because like Bitcoin's very attractive because it's like the longest, obviously it's the most expensive, but it's like it stood the test of time. So in terms of like diversifying risk, etc., like at what point do you get into NFTs and what you buy?
I think it depends on your risk tolerance and doing your own research. I think that most of the NFTs today are cash grabs, besides the gaming ones that I'm into, because I'm just a gamer also. So I'm into that. But if you're someone who is just trying to get into NFTs as like a long-term hold, I don't think it's a really good time, just because I don't think that a lot of these NFTs will stand the test of time, because it is kind of like the .com bubble, where most of these companies will go under. I mean, there are some like blue chip NFTs, like Bored Ape Yacht Club. That's more for the ultra rich, where you're spending, $100,000 for a monkey. But it's kind of silly, but yeah, I mean, there's also, they're evaluated at a couple $1 billion. So, and they have a lot of VC funding, and they have a lot of money behind it. So yeah, I think that a lot of the NFTs today are just a bunch of scams, but the gaming ones, I feel that have some VC funding behind them as a company, and they have the audience for it, I think that they will do pretty well.
Fair enough. So unless you're going to put your NFT to some use, hold off. Unless you're dependent on your risk tolerance. If you're quite happy to basically gamble at the moment, then yeah, fine, go and gamble. If you're going to bet red or black, then yeah, fine, go do it on an NFT as well. Unless, as you say, there's either a utility or there's a purpose for it. That's sort of how we're summing it up at the moment for those sexy bunch of pixels.
Yeah, I think that it is a gamble. I mean, a lot of these projects will say that they have a play to earn game coming. They'll say all these buzzwords or things to make it sound like that it's going to be amazing, but they rug pull. So it is the Wild West right now in crypto. And so there is regulation coming, but if you believe in the technology versus the actual pixels themselves or the crypto tokens themselves, then you're going to do really well. I think the technology is where we're headed. And a lot of these companies that are like Microsoft, like Apple, a lot of them are getting into the crypto space because it's where the money's going.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Eventually it will take over, and the more and more mainstream it becomes, the easier it's going to get. We just need to get like the technophobe generation out of the way, and then it'll be accessible to all. Yeah,
and I mean, it's just to send a wire transfer, takes, especially international, a couple days, and it takes a long time. And being able to send, $100,000 to buy a house, in a different country, it can be instant. And if you combine that with being able to transfer an NFT that is a plot of land, and being able to do that instantaneously through a smart contract, I think is going to be vital versus doing it where you have to wire money and you have to proof of funds and you have to get underwriting and all that other stuff. So
yeah, makes sense. So exciting times then.
It's exciting times ahead. I mean, if you look at how technology has progressed, blockchain technology has progressed quicker than any other technology previously. I mean, if we look at the internet, how long it took to get adapted. If you look at smartphones, how long it took everyone to get a smartphone in their hands. It's more often than not, this technology is being implemented and being used much quicker than any technology we've seen in the past.
Yeah, the uptake's been yeah, I get that. The uptake's been a lot quicker, hasn't it? And people are more susceptible to moving with the times rather than like digging the heels in as much as what they used to.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so NFTs, final thoughts?
Find NFTs that you either like or that you're okay with losing your ass on, because ultimately it comes down to, like, if you find the perceived value, you should never invest more than you're willing to lose. Never bet like your life savings on it, because that'd be horrible for it to just be you're the one holding the hot potato. But I'm in NFTs for the long term and the technology behind it. So I love NFTs, but I'm never going to buy a picture of a monkey because I just don't find the value in it.
Absolutely love it. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. Hope you found it useful and hope this has helped in the crazy questions of NFTs. And I will see you on the next episode.
Thanks so much, guys. Bye.